everybody, what's up? I'm Steven.
And I'm Clay.
And we are the Hills Maniacs. And in today's video, we are going to be predicting NXT TakeOver War Games 2020.
Yay.
The event that is, I guess, a separate WWE pay-per-view, considering it's on a Sunday and not actually on a Saturday like most of the TakeOvers.
Yeah, normally it falls the night before Survivor Series because they do the War Games match and then, and then Survivor Series on
But
Sunday,
I guess with everything going on with all this COVID stuff, I guess they had to change the schedule.
Yep.
There's not really much going on this pay-per-view. There's only five matches. So we're going to run down our predictions. We're going to start with this random match. Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa. I know I've been watching NXT the past couple weeks. They've just kind of thrown this rivalry together. It's just to give Tommaso Ciampa something to do, I guess, but I'd rather see him fighting for the world title, to be honest.
Or at least the North American title.
Yeah, so I just said Tommaso Ciampa's going to win. Yep. I don't really see what the big deal about Timothy Thatcher is. You also said Ciampa.
See, I'm okay with them, not having people in the title picture, because it has to build up other rivalries, and not everybody can fight for the title at all times. But the fact that Tommaso Ciampa is fighting Timothy Thatcher, who to me just isn't one of those people that I care about. I picked Ciampa to win because Timothy Thatcher to me is just meh.
Now, I mean, this match could be building up Timothy Thatcher as a major star because he choked out Tommaso Ciampa on NXT this week, but it was only after a distraction, I think, from somebody else or something like that. I didn't really see it. I was watching AEW.
I'm glad they're doing other storylines and stuff, but it's just that Timothy Thatcher isn't one of those people that I tune in to watch.
And this match feels like it doesn't really need to be on a pay-per-view.
Right.
This could have been like an NXT. This could have been even a kickoff show match, probably. Not that I want Tommaso Ciampa to be on the kickoff show, but next up we're gonna do Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes in a strap match. I honestly couldn't care less about this rivalry either. I think they've had 3 matches already.
Something like that. 2 or 3. Yeah.
Because they had that haunted one too, where he chased him through a haunted house. But I think Dexter Lumis is going to win. He really should win. And I hope he moves on to like a North American title match or something along those lines. I don't really see... I mean, Cameron Grimes would be a good contender to the North American title too, but I just hope this rivalry actually leads to something.
I mean, I'm sure they'll both get...
for one of them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll both get into the title picture at some point. Cameron Grimes. No, I picked Dexter Lumis. Just because I think in a strap match, we've tend to notice a lot because they did a strap match with Daniel Bryan and The Fiend, and I think The Fiend won, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So we tend to notice that in these strap matches, the bigger guy, and I don't mean bigger as in major guy, I mean bigger as in physically bigger, usually tends to win.
Yeah. Because the smaller guy is usually the heel trying to escape sometimes.
Either that, or just because he's more powerful and just overpowered, like The Fiend did with Daniel Bryan in the strap match.
I do like the story they're doing with this, like that basically Cameron Grimes has been trying to get away from Dexter Lumis.
And so this way here.
But also, Dexter Lumis has kind of just been lurking in the shadows, so Cameron Grimes thinks he's hiding from him. So now, because he even said on NXT, he's like, "There's not going to be any more running from me, Dexter, and stuff, because you're going to be strapped to me now," and stuff like that. So, that's a unique story. They both are trying to escape from each other, basically.
And I mean, it really could go either way, because Cameron Grimes is good, Dexter Lumis is good, but this rivalry I don't care about. It's not that I don't care about these people.
Yeah.
They're good stars. I just think they should be doing something else. And so it could go either way, but I'm picking Dexter Lumis
I just hope this builds, like I said, I hope this builds into an NXT title match or an NXT North American title for these two. Or at least these two are like in a number 1 contenders match or something. It needs to lead to something, I hope. Not just a throwaway rivalry, but we'll see, I guess.
Right.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Women's War Games match. It's Team Shotzi Blackheart, which contains Shotzi Blackheart, the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai, Ember Moon, and Rhea Ripley versus Team Candice LeRae, which is Candice, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. I said Team Shotzi is going to win this because I know at least one of the two War Games matches, like the past couple years, has had the heels win one and the baby faces win the other, it seems like. Actually, I think last year was both babyface teams won. I'm not sure. But, yeah, so I think, plus I hope, just like with the last match where we talked about Dexter and Cameron Grimes, I hope this actually leads to these four women, one of these four women getting a title shot, or all three of them facing Io Shirai, even after that, like they were teammates, now they're gonna all face off fatal four-way, whatever. I'm all for that. What do you have?
Right. Well, I initially said Team Shotzi, but thinking about it, I decided to change my answer and go with Team Candice. Because Io Shirai is on Shotzi's team, and Io Shirai at this point is NXT Women's Champion, so I feel like they may use this to maybe build up a storyline where it could come down to like Io Shirai, or Io could start, against somebody, and it could build up a rivalry or whatever, or Io could take the pin, and then whoever pinned her would get the title shot.
Then
later
again,
on.
though, when you get pinned, you get eliminated. I mean, that could also still build into.
No, you don't.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a single elimination.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
No, never mind then.
So so
you're right.
Whoever pins, so like if Candice LeRae were to pin Io Shirai, then Candice could get a future title shot.
That's what I was thinking at the beginning, but I figured this match
or Raquel or Dakota, Toni Storm even versus Io Shirai might be a good match. So I'm going to pick Team Candice to win just because I think they might do that. There's a lot on the line when the champion is in the match.
Yeah,
and so,
I mean, you never know what they could do.
Because we don't have a women's title match, obviously, because Io Shirai is in War Games. So I think in order to, instead of just naming somebody as a new number one contender, this could be a good way to maybe build up a storyline for the future of the women's championship. So Team Candice LeRae for me.
That's making me almost want to change my answer. Next up, one of the last two matches on the card is a triple threat match for the North American Championship. It's between Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, the former champion, and Leon
Two
Ruff.
former champions.
I called him
Johnny Gargano and
the
Damian
Walmart knockoff version of Leo Rush.
Yes.
Leon Ruff. But no offense to him. I mean, he only won the title because of Damian Priest distracting Johnny Gargano. It was funny. And then they did the rematch and the same thing happened. But I don't see Leon Ruff holding it very long. I'm going for Damian Priest winning the title back. Maybe by pinning Leon Ruff. I don't know. Because I think they're going to continue this rivalry with Priest and Gargano. And this was just a way to further that. So I kind of want to see, because Priest was cheated out of the title when somebody helped Gargano win the Halloween Havoc episode. We don't know who was behind the mask, so maybe that'll come into play here as well. We'll get to see who was helping Gargano win, but I still think Damian Priest is going to win the title back.
See, now, here's how I look at it, right? Because I'm all for it, and I say this every time when we talk about championships and number one contenders, that you can have somebody that nobody really knew before win a title, and I'm cool with that as long as you're building up this person to be a main star. And so to have Leon Ruff win the title already tells me that they have, or hopefully have, big plans for Leon Ruff.
True.
At some point in the future, and so I think Leon will keep the title because either Damian or Johnny will cost each other the match, and because it's a triple threat match, they have to worry about Leon Ruff too, and they'll end up forgetting about him, kind of just pushing him off to the side. They'll end up fighting, and he'll come in and get the pin, and then he could move on to someone else while those two still feud, and it keeps the title out of the feud, because I'm not into that, having a title be part of a main feud, because then nobody's ever gonna nobody else is gonna get a shot at the title. So this way here, you can have Leon defend the title against somebody else while keeping the feud going. So I'm picking Leon Ruff to retain, and hopefully this goes places for Leon Ruff in his career.
I mean,
being,
I like that
being somebody that nobody really knew at this point. So,
I mean, I like that they did it this way because then it's like, well, now they're both Johnny and Damian are both former champions. Which one of them is going to win the title back? Probably, And but I feel like, yeah, I mean, this could lead to a push for Leon Ruff afterwards. But I feel like he's also just going to be back in the cruiserweight division. I think that's where he was in the first place. I think he's a cruiserweight because he just fought against a cruiserweight champion in a tag team match this past week on NXT.
But well, the interim cruiserweight champion.
Whatever, but. So I think that, if anything, it's either going to give him a push or lead back to him fighting in the cruiserweight division. I don't think he's going to retain it here. I think this was just a one-off thing to further the feud between Priest and Gargano. And finally, we're going to talk about the men's War Games match. It's, once again, the 4th year in a row, because they've been doing this for 4 years now. And every year, the Undisputed Era has been part of the match. So it's all 4 members of the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Adam Cole, versus Team Pat McAfee.
The former kicker for the Indianapolis Colts, I believe.
And he has a podcast or whatever now, the talk show or whatever it is.
Pat McAfee. That's the same guy.
Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, and the NXT Tag Team Champions Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I kind of like this feud, to be honest, because it's like Pat McAfee came in like all cocky, like after he lost to Adam Cole on, I think it was NXT TakeOver 30, I think it was.
Yeah.
He started orchestrating this whole thing where they were going to take down the Undisputed Era. They had someone attack Adam Cole, things like that. They played it into the story. And now he has like his own faction with Pete Dunne here and everything else. I actually think Team McAfee is going to win this. Because, like I said earlier, how I usually predict this is the heels win one, the baby faces win the other. I had the baby faces win the women's one. And plus, I think they sort of did a tease that whoever wins the War Games match is one of them is going to end up getting like an NXT title shot against Finn Balor. Because a few weeks ago, Finn Balor came back and he was interrupted by Pat McAfee and his group, and then the Undisputed Era came out and fought with them. And Finn Balor did say, he kind of said whoever wins, I want to face you, or something along those lines. But we didn't really hear from Finn Balor this week, but I would personally like to see that, like, whoever maybe, if they win, like, maybe it ends up being, like, Pete Dunne fight. I'd like to see Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor. I mean, I don't think Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, but I don't think Pat McAfee would really get a title shot. He's more like a manager. I mean, he'll be a wrestler in this match, but yeah,
MVP was fighting for the United States title on Raw, so
yeah, I know. I think that's what this is going to lead to. This is actually going to lead into something with the NXT title, and maybe this will push the Undisputed Era out of NXT and move them up to the main roster. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll be, by Royal Rumble next year, they'll be part of the main roster again. I don't know what their plans are. I don't really want to see, like, Adam Cole fighting for the title again, but I'd be okay with any of the other 3 members of Undisputed Era fighting for it. But Pat McAfee's group, at least, Pete Dunne would be good for a title shot. But that's why I think they're going to win.
Okay, so basically, I guess like I did with the women's War Games match, I was sitting here and I had Undisputed Era to win, and then it was just the way you were talking about your team, Pat McAfee's team winning. I think I might go with it too, but for a different reason. I think I'm going to change to Team McAfee because this could be the end of Undisputed Era in general.
You think they're gonna like turn on each other?
I think somebody, because we haven't really seen Adam Cole on NXT, until recently, because he was just kind of like on the screen talking to them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
and Pat McAfee's team was attacking Roderick Strong, and they attacked Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. But they, Adam Cole wasn't here.
Back these past couple.
Exactly,
years.
but that's what I mean. But at first he wasn't here when they were getting attacked, and so either they could hold resentment against Adam Cole, or maybe Adam Cole's done with them, or maybe they just decide to go their separate ways at the end of it. And if they do go up to the main roster, you put 2 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown. You have 2 new teams instead of 1 big team, because you don't need another 4-man group.
True.
You have Hurt Business on Raw. You have Retribution on Raw. SmackDown doesn't have any, but who cares? So you don't need another 4-man team, but to have like Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish on SmackDown fighting against the Street Profits, or have them on Raw fighting against the New Day, or Adam and Roderick, or whatever, or even just have them go off as singles people, because we've seen what Kyle O'Reilly can do as a singles competitor when he took on Balor for the title. So I'm gonna go with Team McAfee just in case there's that slight possibility that this is the end for Undisputed Era.
That was very well said. So there you go, guys. Those are our predictions. Let us know what you guys think is going to happen at the pay-per-view down in the comments section. And be sure to like this video for more just like this. We try to predict most of the pay-per-views, but a lot of them get changed beforehand.
That's true.
So,
Vince.
And be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Subscribe.